My name is Sandra Kimokoti. I'm a co-founder and chief commercial officer for Twende Sports. Twende Sports is the parent company of Nairobi City Thunder.
So what inspired you to co-found a venture in the creative economy space?
Yeah, it really was born out of a desire to create opportunities for young Kenyans in sports. I myself used to be an athlete. I was a lioness with Kenya Rugby between 2014 and 2016. And my own experience sort of just pushed me towards thinking through what can we do for young Kenyans in the sporting space. And so when my co-founder Colin approached me and said, "Hey, I'd like us to work on building, a basketball team out in Nairobi," it was a no-brainer. Yeah. The first, I think, is probably the most major one for athletes who are yearning to pursue sports as a professional career. They're finding it difficult to actually have this be a full-time thing where they don't have to be an athlete and then work either a corporate job or a side hustle or be running a business on the side. So I think many people are struggling with just the unsustainability of it. I think second is the lack of infrastructure. I think for many people, there's just not enough spaces where they can train. There's not enough good quality facilities. So that's another big challenge in the space. And I'd say thirdly, I think there's a lot of people who I would say have been let down by actors in the sports space, whether it's federations. I think there's been a lot of maybe unscrupulous actors that have cost the industry a lot of opportunities, and those opportunities being, income generating opportunities and stability for young athletes in the space. The journey has been accelerating. I think it's been really good, not without its challenges. Maybe I can begin with the good things. So, we acquired Thunder in July of 2023. In that time, we've turned the team fully professional. That means every athlete, every coach has a contract, has health insurance, and we've seen the results, right? The boys have done a really good job going undefeated in their first season under Twende, becoming the first Kenyan team to qualify for the Basketball Africa League. So those have been some of the highlights for us. But I think really just seeing that Kenyan talent is able to play at that continental level very successfully. And I think it's affirmed the fact that as long as you provide young Kenyans with that opportunity in sports, they can level up to global levels. So those have been some of the highlights of the journey. I think challenges, infrastructure has been a big challenge for us. All our games at Nyayo Stadium, I think if you've been to Nyayo, it's not that big. So it has a capacity of about 1,000 people. Kasarani, on the other hand, is about 5,000, right? Our qualifiers for BAL were played at Kasarani, about 3,000 people coming for every game. So we are right now sort of just struggling with the infrastructure piece a bit. It can't hold enough fans. The facility is not really up to par. And so we're starting to think through what would it look like to have our own facility, collaborate with other people and build something that can really be used in the basketball space and be multi-purpose. So beyond basketball, we can do concerts. We can collaborate beyond sports with other creatives. So people that want to, have different events, can also use the space. That's been one big challenge. I think the other challenge which we are seeing now is we need for there to be many strong teams in the league, because that's how you elevate the entire game, right? So Thunder has done really well, but one of the things our first couple of games in the BL showed us is that we need a stronger local league. And so one of the things we're thinking about is how do we also work with other teams to just ensure that we're able to put a very strong product to the fans. And then thirdly, I'd say is one of the things that would be great to see is if our federation is able to bring together media partners on the table and actually broker a media deal. We've seen incredible fan growth in the last 2 years. And what that has told us is that there's people out there who are latent fans in waiting. They don't know they could be fans, but once they see the product, they're bought in. And so where we need support from the federation and other partners is being able to actually get all the league games to the fans in a very accessible format, whether it's a TV partner, because then that way you're able to grow the eyeballs behind the game, and then you make it more attractive for partners who want to come in and support different teams, not just Thunder, but support the league, the federation, support different teams as well.
Lastly, maybe which role has the government played for the creative economy?
For the creative economy, I'll focus on sports because I think that's where I have more visibility. And there, I would just say that there's a lot more room to be done. I mean, it's nice to see that the arena is coming up for Chan on Gong Road, but I think we need to see a doubling down of those efforts. I think historically there's been a focus on these very big arenas, But we also need things in the 3,000 to 5,000 capacity across different parts of the country to really make these spaces accessible to people. I also think that it would be good to see a bit more transparency in the disbursement of the funds in the National Sports Fund that are collected from betting companies, and actually using those to develop grassroots sports and support different sports teams in the country. Yeah.
Before you go, maybe in the next 5-6 years, where do you see Kenya Lionesses?
Lionesses of Thunder.
You said you played for Lionesses.
Yeah, that was my past.
Yeah.
Yeah, so can I speak to both?
Yeah, both, yeah.
So Lionesses, honestly speaking, I'm not part of the rugby setup anymore. But I'm so proud of how that team has grown. When I was there, they've gotten only more successful since I was there. And I firmly believe that for anybody who's watching sports in this country, the Lionesses is a big team to watch in the next 5 years. For Thunder, for us, the hope is to become a permanent feature in the Basketball Africa League, hopefully to secure the Kenyan franchise slot for the BAL. And down the line beyond Thunder, actually expand what we're doing with youth basketball and build a very robust pipeline of basketball talent in this country that's able to play for multiple teams in Kenya and also play abroad.
Thank you, Sam.
Thank you as well. Thanks for having me.